What is vintage story? Well, it may look like Minecraft, but that's not the case. It's much deeper than that. When you are making tools, you need to actually shape them with the flint against another piece of stone in order to get maybe a piece for a shovel, and then you can go ahead and craft it. But you need to do things separately, which is something that really in Minecraft you just have your crafting table, but this forces you to think outside the box. And when you now see that you put things together, it gives a sense of satisfaction. But it might have taken quite a long time for you to be able to understand the mechanics, even though later on they may appear simple. They have some work involved, that's for certain. Just making maybe some ladders gives you a different depth when it comes to nighttime. A bit of protection, maybe a passageway that can keep you safe, because you are in a world that tries to kill you. Everything is aggressive. Nothing's easy. If you like Minecraft but perhaps want something more slow-paced that really challenges your concept of building or crafting, and nighttime is not something you want to be around. When the night falls, monsters come to you and you try to build defenses or prepare for activities that you can do at nighttime without being disturbed, because you can sleep and skip nighttime, but it might be something that you don't want to do because you still get hungry as you sleep. So if you don't have enough food, might as well stay away, preparing ways or tools for in the morning be able to get more materials easier. You want to be resourceful in this game, because we didn't get to experience this much, but there is temporal storms, which is like a forced nether upon you, if it was Minecraft terms we were talking about, because the world that you live in has a parallel dimension that tries to kind of inflict damage upon you. So if you see that coggy icon in the middle, that thing can change, and the lower that it is, your world gets affected in a way that things are wavy and glitchy, and even though it's a cube kind of voxel world, things will turn rounded and spherical. There will be monsters that are called drifters coming from other dimensions. So even though it looks like a primitive style, and you do need to do panning for resources more in a realistic way, there is also enemies. Enemies that not only can fight melee in close range, they also throw rocks at you. So there's no like safe way to get around. So you might want to build defenses, walls, pits for them to fall in. You also need to carry on crafting, because the tools that you can make early on break quite easily. So in terms of being like Minecraft, the looks of it might be, but it's a completely different game, and one that it can be quite challenging to be able to know what you can craft without a recipe book just next to your crafting table, as it was in Minecraft. Fighting enemies while trying to craft weapons can be a challenge and really it can be quite enjoyable. You might find that surviving through the night is not the worst that could happen, but actually having enough food to carry on the next day, that is another thing you need to be aware of. Not just the enemies, but also wolves, bears, even goats or ducks can be aggressive to you if you attack them. So getting food is not straightforward, really. So when we play Vintage though, which we have not played for long, we have felt like getting things done is quite satisfactory in a way, because the sense of progression, like for example just having a watering can, you have to form it with clay in a way that you do pottery. And also foraging is quite exciting when you go out and just find mushrooms. Try not to get something that could be poisonous or potentially kill you as soon as you eat it. Being able to differentiate between different kinds of food sources and just picking the one that will benefit you the most is something that doesn't happen in many other games. Really, when you're going around, you take the mushroom or whatever, and we found quite a few that do damage to you. Some do very little damage, but give you a bit of saturation for your food. So you have to strike the balance between, I might get hurt, but it'll get me to next day with this much food. There's many things in this game that are not. It is quite a steep learning curve, we could call it. But once you are there and there's no leveling progression as such, maybe you make another world and that knowledge passes on. You know now what to take advantage of, or different resources that, hey, you didn't think you could get that easy. Now you can. Just foraging around. There's different classes you can choose. There's a class that gives you more for what you forage out in the wild. So you can play that way, in that play style. And personally, we just chose the commoner class because it doesn't have any negative traits. It doesn't excel on anything. But at the end of the day, trying to survive, it doesn't really matter. Spending the nights, you spend them panning, and if you have maybe a pickaxe, we didn't do at this point, but you could go mining. And there is dungeons and secrets underneath. Also, regarding multiplayer aspect, playing with a friend is something very enjoyable, to the point that you are doing something, but they can help you craft it. Like, you might be doing an anvil mold, and you need some help because it's quite tedious. You need to do it place block by block, to the point that it feels like you doing a 3D model, and when it's finally finished, it's quite exciting. You wouldn't expect for it to be so rewarding as such. And as I say, friends can help you build whatever you are building. They can come in and contribute and help you finish it off. And sometimes that's the way you want to go about it, because it'll take less time. And if you're playing by yourself, well, nothing you can do about that. But being able to contribute in different tasks before the night drops with your friends, that can be something you might want to look forward to when you play this game. It's not a game that many people have heard of, and I personally didn't know about it till a few months ago. And excited we finally got the chance to play it, and really is a depth in which you may not have experienced in any survival game, because it's complicated yet simple. I've seen more complicated games in the past, to the point that just getting some basic mechanics is impossible. But this one is quite hard, but once you get it to the basics, or once you have done that effort, that work pays off later on down the line. If you've made the mold and you have the crucible to smelt some ingots or whatever, you have got the progress, and that will not disappear unless your house, you get lost and lose it. That progress stays there. Even if you die and lose your items, there is still progress being made in this game. So overall, I think is a great experience. if you're trying to find something and maybe you're tired of Minecraft. This is only the surface. There's many things we haven't actually been able to find. We have found some ruins, but not massive ones. But there's secrets and things to explore in the game, and there's actually a story to it. There's NPCs and traders that you can find, and there's many other things that I find quite interesting. But as I say, we've only been playing for maybe a couple of days at most. But really, so far, the sense of discovery and exploration that this game can bring is quite great. It's got a built-in minimap. You can label places and tag them in your minimap so you can find them again. You can prospect for materials that are found deep below, and you cannot mine stone unless you have a pickaxe. So just the sense of being able to go underground into a mine, which you can also have a cave in and die, but you can prepare for it. That sense of being able to do something that in Minecraft is already given to you. Like, you can mine straight away below you, not even with a pickaxe. You just won't get this stone, but you can do it. You can go into a cave and find iron and make a full metal armor in spit run kind of minutes. But in this game, you have to be ahead of the curve. There is seasons as well, so you need to stock up on food before the winter comes, and you need to make sure you've got the tools you need in order to survive. Maybe having all that hard work pay off when you've been panning for hours to be able to get a few copper nuggets, to be able to have some wooden tongs to not burn your character while you pick up the very hot crucible at 1,200 degrees. Things like that really separate Vintage Story to what you would normally find in your normal survival. So I can only say that I recommend playing this game. We haven't played too much yet, but what we have seen is quite interesting. It's not a game that is on Steam, so many may never hear from it. So if you're looking for something like Minecraft, but really a different depth to what you're used to, Vintage Story might just be what you need. And will we play it again? Yeah, pretty much so. I'm already ready to go and be able to maybe get some metal or steel armor. So far, the most that we've gotten to do is some copper pickaxes and a copper hammer, in which you can strike the anvil to maybe make a saw blade or something along those ideas. Like, I'm showing now a clip of where we just first starting to smelt things. We don't know if we're doing it wrong. We're trying to look at anything. But to be honest, we have made it this far without having to go into a website to look for any guide. They have a survival guide built into the game that gives you all sorts of guides on what you need to do. And if you're not sure about what you can craft, there's a recipe book. You can have a look every now and then and keep things fresh. And that's something that I really enjoyed seeing, because Minecraft, in my experience, I played Minecraft before there was a recipe book. So once you made the progress or acquired the knowledge of how to craft it, you made sure to remember it, and it felt more rewarding when you crafted things than if you could just craft it at any point just by clicking a button without having to remember at all how to build it. In this game, you can do that, but you're rewarded for being able to remember how to do it. And that small sense of satisfaction is still there, and is something that I'm missing from modern day Minecraft. So what can I say? I would say he's an early access game that looks like Minecraft, but is much more daunting to be able to learn. It is a great experience if you're alone, or a great experience if you are with friends, and you can play on public multiplayer servers. You can play single player. You can play LAN like we are doing at this point. And overall, you should just give it a go. It has a creative mode as well, and it's got loads of possibilities. Many variants of different minerals. I mean, the amount of meals you can cook is absurd. The amount of animals you can find is absurd as well. There's not just one goat or one deer. There's like 11 different types of deer or of animal for every animal. It's got a big depth. It's a game that has been going for a few years now, and the community is quite active. The modding side of this game is very active. In my experience, I've not seen a game with an easier way to install mods as this one. You can simply click on the mod and it automatically gets installed into your game. Even if you don't have your game open, it will open the game for the mod to be installed. Very, very good and flawless interaction. And there is many mods. So you find something that you're not quite sure you enjoy, there will be a mod for it, most likely. And as the community keeps on growing, you will always be able to find something that is not there, maybe in the coming years. Also, the developers end up adding to the main game some of the mods based on what people enjoy or how the community wants the game to feel like. They will add it onto the game, which is a great addition. So we'll see you maybe next time in Vintage Story. But remember, nights and winters are cruel, so just be ready. Bye bye.